In the previous class, we have seen the Coulomb's law, which gives the expression for the force exerted by a point charge or on another point charge. And also we have seen the concept of electric field intensity. One thing you need to remember in Coulomb's law is when we consider the point charges, we consider only 2 point charges, that is one point charge Q1 and another Q2, right? Then we found the force exerted by one point charge on the other, right? So, but that need not be the case. Sometimes there might be plenty of charges in the system. So suppose there are n number of charges, okay, and you need to find the force exerted by those n number of charges on a particular point charge. Then what will be the force acting on that? See, this Coulomb's law is said to be linear. That means if at all there are n number of point charges, suppose this is a point charge. Yeah, there are n number of point charges. You can call them Q1, Q2, Q3, okay, similarly till Qn, okay. So whatever you call that, yeah, then the force acting on this particular point charge, this you call wherever you want to calculate the force, okay. So this is the point Q. So the force on this particular point charge due to Q1 will be in the direction of this line joining Q1 and Q, okay. So it will be this direction. Similarly, the force acting on Q because of this point charge Q2 will be in the line joining this Q2 and Q, so it will be in this direction, right? Similarly, the force on Q due to Q3 will be in the line joining Q3 and Q, it will be in this direction. Similarly, if there are n number of charges, so they will have their own individual, yeah, this is Q1, so individual amounts of forces acting in the direction of line joining those 2 points. So but when there are collectively there are so many number of point charges, the collective force that is exerted on a particular point charge will be the sum of all these individual forces. So we can call this F1, okay, this is F2, this is F3, similarly this will be Fn. So when we imagine these points and all these lines and vectors, so you should keep in your mind, so this need not be on a plane, okay, this need not be on a single plane, they can be in the space in any plane in all the 3 dimensions, right? So point Q1, Q2, Q3, they can be anywhere in the space, right? So we will have a complex number of so many number of vectors in different directions, and the resultant or equivalent sum of this will be the actual force acting on the point Q, right? So that sum, it can be given as F. So we can call this particular force as F. That is equal to the sum of all this, F1 plus F2 plus F3, right, till n, okay. So this principle is called the principle of superposition, okay. This is called the principle of superposition. That means if there are more than one point charges, then the equivalent force acting at a particular point, it will be the sum of the individual forces based on Coulomb's law, right? The individual forces F1, F2, F3 and so on, they can be calculated using Coulomb's law. Fine. Now when you know the value of the charges Q, Q1, Q2, Q3 and the distances, individual distance between them, you can calculate them using Coulomb's law, then add them together, you will get the equivalent force F. That is the sum of all this. The same principle, it holds good even for the electric field intensity. So this is the force, right? Based on the force, we have calculated electric field intensity. What is electric field intensity? It is nothing but the force at a particular point that is uh, acting on a unit positive charge. If the charge kept at a particular point is plus 1 coulomb charge, then the force on that is called the electric field intensity at that particular point. So the same principle of superposition holds good even there. So you have one thing to get the expression for electric field intensity due to several point charges. So we will see that electric field intensity due to several point charges. So consider a system of charges Okay, because if there are n number of point charges, q1, q2, q3 till qn, so there are n number of point charges, and which are at a distance of say r1, r2, r3 to rn respectively from a particular point, that is p. Suppose this is a point p. Okay, if this is the point p, then there are n number of charges. Say this is q1, this is q2, this is q3. So there are n number of charges till qn. Okay, then they are at a distance of r1. That means q1 is at a distance of r1 from p, q2 is at a distance of r2, q3 at a distance of r3, qn is distance of at a distance of rn from this particular point p. Yeah, along with the distance, we also have the unit vectors in the direction of the distance vector. That is uh, a1 vector, a1 cap is the unit vector in the direction of r1, a2 cap is the unit vector in the direction of r2, a3 cap is unit vector in the direction of r3. Similarly, an cap in direction of rn. Then electric field intensity at the point P due to this point charge at Q1 is given by E1. It is in the direction of the line joining Q1 and P, that is E1. Similarly, electric field intensity at this point P due to Q2, we can show it as E2. Similarly, E3 this is due to Q3. Similarly, if there are n point charges, En, that is due to point charge Qn, which is at a distance of Rn from the point P. The expressions for these E1, E2, E3 till En, we can write from the simple expression for electric field intensity, right? The electric field intensity at the point P due to point charge Q1, that is E1, is Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon R1 square into A1 cap. Yesterday we have seen the expression for electric field intensity. It is nothing but Q divided by 4 pi epsilon R square into AR cap. Here the charges are Q1, Q2, Q3. Instead of just Q, we have Q1, Q2, Q3 and other things. That's why we take it as E1 with a subscript 1 to indicate it is due to the point charge Q1 with the distance R1. Okay, so A1 is the unit vector in this direction, where A1 is R1 divided by magnitude of R1, that is the unit vector in the direction of R1. Similarly, electric field intensity at the point P due to Q2 is this, that is Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon R2 square A2 cap, where A2 is unit vector in the direction of R2, that is R2 by magnitude of R2. Similarly, E3 is this, right? In place of, we have charge is Q3, distance is R3, unit vector is A3. Similarly, if you take the nth charge, that is Qn, En, that will be equal to Qn by 4 pi epsilon Rn square An cap. So then n could be any number, that whatever the maximum number you have in the system, number of charges you have in the system. So you have these equations. We have got these equations 1, 2, 3, and 4 for individual electric field intensity. Now, from the principle of superposition, okay, from the principle of superposition, the equivalent or the resultant electric field intensity at this particular point P will be obtained by adding all these individual electric field intensities due to individual point charges. So that is E. It is a sum of all this, E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus En. So if you add them, if you add all this, the equivalent field will be the electric field intensity, and that's the sum of all this. So substituting all the equations 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you had for this in this equation, you get this. E1 is Q1 by 4 pi epsilon R1 square into A1 cap. This is A2 cap, right? We did not consider this R, sorry, right? So we just took A2 cap. Similarly, for Q3, it is R3 by 4 pi epsilon R3 square into A3 cap. Sorry. Similarly, for the nth charge, we have this, right? Yeah. Instead of ARN, yeah, we have taken it as AN cap. This thing, we can write it in the form of the summation, as this is equal to E is summation of QM divided by 4 pi epsilon RM square into AM cap, right? AM cap, where M is equal to 1 to N. So if there are N number of point charges, you can use this equation to get the effective or uh, resultant electric field intensity due to those many number of point charges. Now, in this case, we have used the distance vectors R, capital R1, R2, R3, and this Rn and all. Suppose, you can use, instead of distance vectors, you can also use the position vectors of individual points. Okay, position vectors, they'll be in small letters R, right? Position vectors of individual points. So, if you consider the rectangular coordinates, a point P is given by its coordinates x, y, z. If there is a point P and point Q, point P of x, y, z, point Q at x bar, y bar, z bar, you can show it like this. Okay, this is the point P, its coordinates are x, y, z. This is the point Q, its coordinates are x bar, y bar, and z bar. So what we are seeing is the position, the distance between Q to P is given by R. Okay, it's vector R. It's the vector R. Then suppose this is the origin. Then the position vectors of point P and Q, we can take it as R and R dash. Okay, the position vector of P is R. Its coordinates are x, y, z. So you know how to write the position vector. That is x a x, y a y plus z a z. And position vector of Q, we can take it as R dash. That is x dash a ax plus y dash ay plus z dash az, right? Then the distance from Q to P will be given by R, capital R, that is R minus R dash, right? So from Q to P, that's why it is P minus R, position vector of P minus position vector of R. Position vector of P is R, position vector of Q is R dash. So if you do this, you'll get this R and R dash, the values. This is X, Y, Z, this is X dash, Y dash, Z dash. So vector, distance vector R will be equal to x minus x dash ax plus y minus y dash ay plus z minus z dash az. Now, the electric field intensity at the point P due to this point charge at Q will be given by, now electric field intensity, it can be expressed as a vector function of R because it is dependent on the position of where that point is, right? That can be given as Q divided by 4 pi epsilon, the distance is r minus r dash square, square of magnitude of the distance in the direction ar cap. Ar cap is the unit vector in this direction. Okay, unit vector in this direction, and that ar cap is vector r divided by magnitude of r. So in place of ar cap, I can write vector r. Vector r is r minus r dash divided by magnitude of r minus r dash. So here in the denominator we have r minus r dash square and r minus r dash. If I multiply, it will be r minus r dash cube. So you have this like q multiplied by vector r minus r dash divided by 4 pi epsilon r minus r dash whole cube, right? So this is the expression for electric field intensity in terms of the position vectors r and r dash. Suppose you take 2 points. Suppose you take 2 point charges, q1 and q2, okay, which are at distances of r1 and r2 respectively. Then the electric field intensity at the point P, which is at a distance of r. So that means this, you are finding the electric field intensity at this point P. Okay, this point P has position vector r. This is in the rectangular coordinate system. This is the origin. The distance from origin to the point P is given by this vector r. Okay, vector r. Then there is a point charge at q1 which is at a distance of r1. Okay, its distance vector is r1. Then there is another point charge q2. This is at a distance of r2. The distance vector, position vector of point q2 is r2. That means from the origin its distance is r2. Now we are considering the electric field intensity at this particular point P due to both of these charges. So that is given by sum of electric field intensity due to Q1 and the electric field intensity due to Q2. Okay, so what we get is this will be, yeah, due to Q1 it is Q1 by 4 pi epsilon R1 minus R1 square into A1 cap, where R minus R1 is the distance of the point Q1 to P. Similarly, due to point Q2, it will be Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon r minus r2 square into A2 cap, where r minus r2 will be the distance of point Q2 from P, right? This is r minus r1 and this is r minus r2, right? So this will be very clear only if you have understood the distance vectors and position vectors. So this a1 cap and a2 cap are the unit vectors in the direction of uh, yeah, r minus r1 and r minus r2 respectively. So suppose there are more number of charges as we considered in the previous case. If there are n number of point charges, this can be written as a summation of qm divided by 4 pi epsilon r minus rm square. In place of these numbers we have m, right, which can be any number from 1 to n, right? So this is the way we can write the, yeah, we can write the expression for electric field intensity due to several point charges. So in the, like in the previous case, whatever we get, in terms of distance vector, that is also fine. If you want in terms of position vectors, then you can get up to this particular expression, right? So next we have the electric field due to different kinds of charge distributions. So we have the charge distribution. It can be a volume charge distribution or a surface charge distribution or a line charge distribution. Okay, so we will see the field due to different types of charge distributions. First, we will consider the volume charge distribution. So if you consider a continuous volume charge distribution, okay, if you consider a continuous volume charge distribution as shown in this figure, so this is a certain volume, okay, some random shaped volume, right? So which has a charge of q enclosed within it. The total charge enclosed within that volume is q. Okay, so then what we will consider is a small volume element inside that particular uh, volume. Okay, inside the total volume we will consider one small volume element dv. The total volume is v. Okay, total volume is given as v. We will consider one small volume element dv. Fine. So yeah, consider a cloud of densely packed charges inside this volume v with volume charge density rho v. So the volume charge density is nothing but the charge contained within a particular volume. Okay, the charge unit is coulombs, the volume unit is meter cube. That's why the unit of volume charge density will be coulombs per meter cube. Okay, the symbol for volume charge density is rho v. Rho is the symbol for charge density. Okay, rho is the symbol for charge density. This v subscript indicates it is volume charge density. So the unit you have to remember, it is coulombs per meter cube. So what it gives is the measure of how much charge is contained within a particular volume. Okay, so let q be the total charge. As I said, let q be the total charge contained in this particular volume v. Fine. So consider a small differential charge dq in the differential volume dv. So as I said, if you consider a small volume here, a differential volume dv, okay, so if there is a small charge dq in this differential volume dv, okay, if there is a small charge dq in this differential volume dv, so the volume charge density, as I said, it is charge divided by volume. Okay, so if you consider a small or differential charge and differential volume, you can write volume charge density is dq divided by dv. Okay, charge divided by volume. For a differential charge and differential volume, the charge density can be given by dq divided by dv. Fine. So then we know the electric field intensity at a point. We want to find the electric field intensity at a point P due to this entire volume. So what we do is, it is very difficult to get the electric field intensity at a point P due to entire volume at once. That is why we consider this small differential element. Okay, then find the electric field intensity at this point due to that differential element, then integrate that thing over the entire volume. Then we will get electric field intensity at point P due to this entire volume, right? So now we have considered this dV as a differential volume. The electric field intensity at the point P, which is at a distance r from this charge dq, okay, so that is given by dE. So we will consider dE, that is differential electric field intensity. That is given by, the expression for electric field intensity, that is charge divided by 4 pi epsilon multiplied by the distance square multiplied by the unit vector. So you get charge is dq in this case divided by 4 pi epsilon. The distance is r multiplied by the unit vector in the direction of the distance, that is ar cap, right? So this dE is the elemental or the differential electric field intensity due to this differential charge contained in the differential volume, right? So you have to substitute the value of dq. What is dq now in terms of volume? Because you are supposed to integrate this over the entire volume. So dq, from this expression, dq will be equal to rho v into dv, right? Dq will be equal to rho v into dv, because rho v is dq by dv, so dq is rho v into dv. That's what is given here. Now the expression for in the previous expression, if you substitute in place of dq, if I put rho v into dv, so we will get this dE will be equal to rho v into dv divided by 4 pi epsilon r square into ar cap. Now how can we get E from this expression for dE? We can get E by integrating both the sides of this equation. So if I integrate this, so I'll get integration of dE will be equal to integration of rho v dv divided by 4 pi epsilon r square into ar cap. So integration and differentiation, they get cancelled, right? So that's why E will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon. We can keep this outside, multiplied by integration of rho v dv divided by r square into ar. So this is the expression for electric field intensity due to a continuous volume charge distribution. Since we are considering this continuous volume charge distribution, that's why we can get the expression using integration. We consider a small element and then we integrate it to get the electric field intensity due to the entire volume. Okay, so the units for electric field intensity, as I said yesterday, it is volts per meter. Okay, so this is the expression for electric field intensity due to a continuous volume charge distribution. So the same principle you can use to get the electric field intensities due to continuous surface charge distribution and also due to continuous line charge or linear charge distribution. Okay, so those things you try to do it by considering the similar concept. If not, I will discuss that in the next class.